Cool.
Oh, I was going to be like just setting this up.
All right, that's good enough.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, okay. So how did I get here? From
You were telling me how that terminal is the exact same thing
Oh.
as like the search.
yes. Okay, so this is cool. This is really cool. Okay, so if we logically think about it, so I went to my Surge Neo directory, right?
Your home, yeah.
My home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I went to pictures,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I found Pooperino Jones.
That's right.
And again, visually, I can see all of that.
Correct.
So, how can I do that on here? So first things first, this little squiggly means home.
Okay.
Surge Neo is the name of the user,
Yes.
and the dollar sign means, I'm pretty sure it means this is like a bash terminal. So like it accepts bash commands. This terminal accepts bash commands just like my web browser accepts HTML and JavaScript. It's just like it's just a different language. Right?
Oh, okay. Oh, I see.
So if I say,
yes.
can you find Pooperino Jones? It's gonna be like, what the fuck is that?
Command bash. I see. The command itself wasn't found. And
Yeah.
It says try again.
Exactly. So it's
Okay.
like, I don't understand it. Tell me something I can understand.
LS.
LS. Now this is like, I can totally understand that.
Okay.
So it's like,
Okay.
honestly, I haven't worked with Bash all my life, or the terminal all my life. So sometimes, like, for example, I just Googled right here, run Python script terminal. And here, like, you can find, how do I run Python from a command line? Oh, all you do is this. And, like, so I'm still kind of learning this, but I understand general things. Okay. So, yes.
So what was LS? Like, what does that stand for? And what did you...
Let's find out. So, I don't know what it stands for. Long listing. Okay. I see. So, long listing. Or listing, I should say. That just means show me all of the files and folders in the directory that we're currently in. And the directory that we're currently in is squiggly, aka home. So now, me typing ls is the same as me going to my Finder and going to the Surge Neo directory. You can see here this 7A192 there, public applications. That's all there. So do you kind of see now this is the same thing?
Yes.
But this is just a more graphical way to look at it.
Okay.
Okay.
Then how does this way benefit anyone in any way more than this one?
That's a good question. So if I, for example, I want to go to my my folder where I'm learning React, okay? So what I can do is documents, cd dev, cd, what is it called even? React? Oh yeah, it's called React. Boom. I just typed a few words and now I'm here in this folder. So what? That took me maybe 10 seconds, right?
I see.
Okay, let's go over here. So first I have to go to Surge Neo, then I have to go find documents, and then I find dev, and then I find React. It took me about the same amount of time.
Yeah.
But with this, I can do little shortcuts. So I'm like dev, cd, React. Okay, that took me fucking 2 seconds. So the biggest perk to this is, like, if you know exactly where things are, you can just type and you're there. Like, typing is a lot faster than kind of like moving, clicking. It's just it's a big preference for speed. So that's one reason. Another reason is, like, we'll how about this? Okay, let's go to my dev folder. Again, I just went there. Let's go into my Kenny folder, and let's create a file which says hello. Okay. Oops. I gotta save it. Hello.py. Okay. So I press ls. That just shows what I have in here. So now let's do this. See, now I have to go back here because I don't remember how to run this thing. Oh, that's how it is. Okay, Python. Boom. Okay. What did I just do? Let's do this. I'm going to type Python hello.py, and I'm doing that in my Kenny directory.
Okay.
I hit enter, and it printed hello. Okay. Well, why did I do that? We'll get into that. What did I do? I ran this Python script. And this Python script says print hello.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I did that in the terminal. That's one way to do it. Let's go into here. Okay, so I'm going to go into my Kenny folder. I found my Python script. You can see it's the same, print hello. Now, if I try to run this, I see, oh, actually, yeah. I see from this menu, I can't actually run this. I have to go into my Python launcher, which launches another application, and then, okay, so fine, we'll open it up. Preferences, it seems fine, I think. Interpreter, I don't really know. Process complete, I don't even know what the hell that means. Let's try this again. I don't really... Python launcher. Huh, that's weird. Some reason it's not opening. Oh, here it is. Okay. So I gotta go to open hello.py. Oh, what the fuck? This is bugging out. I don't know what's going on. But I have to open the application. I'd have to go to the little menu and click run script. Whereas here, I just type a few words and it runs. So like, again, this terminal, the reason you use it is to eliminate all graphical interfaces. Because at the end of the day, a graphical interface just makes it clearer for you to see what you're doing. But if you already know what you're doing...
Oh, you don't need to see it. Oh, I see.
Yeah, like, for example, I can go to facebook.com. Oh, shit, I have
like
this.
a chess player playing chess without the board in pieces. Like,
yeah.
You can get there. Or like a mathematician being able to do long division without writing it down, perhaps.
Yeah, that's a.
I don't need any visual assistance if I know.
That's a really good. Those are really good analogies. So yeah, it's like if you play chess blindfolded, that's using the terminal. So that's a good reason to use the terminal if you kind of already know what you need to do. There's a lot more reasons, but that's just the biggest reason why you'd use the terminal rather than.
So what things could you do with the terminal? Like I saw my dad. I remember once like kill something. Like kill would be to like stop to shut down.
Yeah, things. Exactly. So see here I am like looking. What is the command? Oops. HTOP. That's not found. I think this is what I want. Nope, it's not. There's some way to view all the processes. And a process is Oh, there it is. Okay, boom. Okay, cool. So I typed ps.-ef and a bunch of shit came up. What does this mean? These are all the different like programs that are running.
On your computer at the moment?
On my computer right now. Do you see all this shit?
That's a lot.
That's a fuckload. Probably half of these are Google Chrome.
Say Pornhub up there?
I was like, really? Haven't you seen Pornhub in a while? I use XNXX. But yeah,
I got a virus from that one.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like 4 years ago.
What? That's terrible. Okay, so most of these are like the operating system level things that I don't even fucking know. Like a lot of programmers generally don't understand. Like that's a different type of programming. But yeah, so like if I typed kill 371, that would be killing my keyboard services. I probably can't use my keyboard, so I'd have to restart. So that's what that means. If I typed kill Google Chrome, there's a lot of processes. So I'd have to do some special command, but once I would do that, all my Chrome would shut down. So yeah, that's what that's for.
So is that how hackers cannot get into your computer and like change everything on your screen? Because they're taking control of your terminal?
That's one way. So hackers getting into your computer and taking over your screen, that's a few steps. first they have to convince you to install a program on your computer.
Okay.
And then once they install that program on your computer, they can effectively access your computer. And then they download a script and run it through the terminal, because most people are like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, just fixing it. And then meanwhile, this, like how I did Python hello.python.
Yeah.
Boom, like it starts running. That's kind of how that happens.
Huh.
And now people just see a bunch of shit like blah 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 blah, and they're like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, nothing. Don't worry about it. And then they change your password and you're fucked. So yeah, that's kind of how that works. Do you have any other questions? Otherwise, I'll kind of talk about like an overview of programming.
Sure.
Cool. I want to see if there's someone else who can probably explain it better than me. But that's kind of funny. Yeah, that's just fine. Okay, so clear. Okay. An overview of programming. There's a ton of different layers to programming. What I do is a pretty like mid to top layer. So we'll start at the top. I don't know what this is, but we're not doing that. Okay, so top to bottom. So anything involving a user interface, meaning
the human interacts with it physically.
Yeah, so like, yeah, exactly. UI is generally like something more tangible to someone who doesn't understand computers, like folders. Like, you know what a folder is without a button, like a little checkbox. Like, that's super high level UI. That's its own language, and that's like through HTML, CSS. Again, typing words, that's HTML, CSS. Okay. I can create a website which has buttons, but doesn't do anything. What that needs is JavaScript. And then I'll dive more into this, but like, HTML, CSS is everything you can see. JavaScript is more of the things that happen, right?
Okay.
So, I type this. I'm typing this box, that's HTML, CSS. I click a button, that's JavaScript. This little thing pops up, that's JavaScript. Like, yeah, things that need interacting, that's JavaScript. So then that's the front end languages. So like, what needed to happen when I type in Sergio? So I go to this wireframe.cc website, right? I type Sergio, I type my password, I type login. Like, what needs to happen for this message to pop up? Wrong username or password.
Well, it needs to first know what is correct and what is acceptable.
Yes.
Inputs and what is not acceptable, or what is acceptable that goes together, because you could put your username and I can put in my password.
Mm-hmm.
Although those two things would be correct, they are not correlated together. So
yes.
Perhaps it's looking for that type of stuff.
That's exactly it. So now what happens is that goes to like that shit happens behind the scenes. Like, we never see checking all the database. Like, we never see that. It just happens, right?
Yeah.
So, like, this is the front end. That's FE. That's terrible. And then there's this, like, back end layer. And this is your Python. This is your Java. Those are, like, yeah, like, that's the type of code that is just text. Like, received username Sergio, received password, checking database, matching. Like, that all happens in the back end. That's the Java and Python. There's a ton of different languages for that. So that's kind of how, like, super quick overview of how that works. Now, do you have any idea what's actually like going on between here? Like, yeah, I don't really either. And that's like the next layer. Is kind of like the, so that's the front end. This is the back end. This is like more of the, what do you call it? Like machine layer, so to speak. And this is your like languages for your hard drive, or for your CPU. Like, that's a super low level shit. Actually, there's a layer between this, which is your operating system. And then I'll get more into the kind of how this works. So like, this is the hard drive, the CPU. This is where all the zeros and ones happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from website to just like zeros and ones, that's a extremely high level overview.
Well, what about from here to Python? How do zeros and ones understand a programming language?
Okay. That's a very good question. So, it kind of works like, so okay, let's say we're logging in, right? Type in Sergio, password, okay. That goes down to the JavaScript, that goes down to Python, that goes down to the CPU, and it kind of goes back up, right? Mm-hmm. So, at each of these layers, there are things called interpreters. And so, eventually, yeah, this HTML turns into zeros and ones. This JavaScript turns into zeros and ones. Yes, okay. And again, at each of these layers, there's interpreters. So, if I say, here, we can actually kind of look at an example.
Wait a sec. So could the letter S equal like 1101100001110 would be just S? Is it something like that?
Yes, exactly. So, this is kind of fun. So this is called an ASCII table. I forget how the fuck to read this. Okay. So, shit, hold on. There's a better,
Oh, no, I understand. Is it this binary? I understand binary.
Do you find
Yes.
I do not.
It's easy. Okay, look at this. Decimal place starts on the bottom side. There's only ones or zeros, right?
Yeah.
And picture each node 1, 2, 3 being double of the previous. This bottom one is 1, correct. 2, and 4. So 1, 0, 0 is 1. There's a 0 on the numbered ones place, a 1 in the 2. So then that's 2, and then 3, because 2 plus 1 is 3. 1, 2, 4. 4. Yeah. Starting bottom right binary. I'm with you. Does this make sense?
This makes sense.
Because then 4 plus 3 plus.
Yeah, okay. There we go. Thank you. See, but now I'm trying to think, okay, so this is 4.
Yeah.
That's fine. How the hell do you get from this to, let's say, D? What is D in binary? That's where I'm confused.
Maybe it is 4, A, B, C, D, because it's the fourth.
Oh, you're right. This letter? Is okay. That's right. Okay, so yes, binary. So this is 1, or yeah, if we do 0, 0, 0, 1, that equals 1, right? 0, 0, 1, 0, that equals 2, right? 0, 0, 1, 1, that equals 3. Okay,
yeah,
and etc. etc. So now, if we keep going, I think it starts 57 equals A.
What?
Yes. So it's something like this. This is the best. Oh, they revamped it. Okay, so A is 65 maybe. Shit. 10. A is 65. Okay. Okay. So you're right. 65 in binary. So
B makes no sense. Or what's the OB? Oh, is that saying binary?
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
So once I type ABC, and it gets the CPU. The CPU is like 1000001. Oh, of course, that means A. And then
wait, so it doesn't only mean A because you're putting it in a certain type of search bar. Well, so how does a computer know A? Computer only knows ones and zeros.
Yes.
What if you wanted to say the number 65 instead of a letter?
So that's... let me just go here. First you'd have to... Okay, so I like this chart. How do you... shit, am I doing this wrong? Okay, here we go. Yes, okay, so 65. That comprises of 2 characters, right?
Yes, 6 and a 5.
So that would be 54 in binary, and then 53 in binary. So maybe I did this wrong, but okay, if we look up 54, so that would be 110110 and 53, or no, 50, yeah, 3. Okay, so that would be 110101. So this right here, once it gets to the CPU and it comes back up, it'll be like, oh yeah, that's 65. Like the CPU sees this just like how we see it as this.
Wait, 65. Oh, that's not 65. That's a way huger number. That's 1, 2, 4, 8, 64.
Okay, fine. There's like, I'm pretty sure binary works in, oh god, see, I'm a little bit rusty here, but it's something like binary works in 8s. I think Hasten can explain this better, but it's like so like how we said 0001 is 1. The computer actually sees it as this.
Oh, the dust. Oh, I get it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and gosh, again, this is what 64-bit. $64-bit. Yes. Because this is the 64 place. Yes. Yeah, okay. So that's 64-bit. And so, fine, you're right. Maybe it's not... I would just need to tack on 2 more zeros here and 2 more zeros here. And that's what the computer would actually see.
Oh, I see. Because the 6 would be the first 8 comprised of the first 8, and then the 5 would be comprised of 6.
That's okay, exactly it. Yeah.
I get it.
So, and then again, there's a bunch of shit that to be totally honest, like, I couldn't tell you perfectly exactly. I can give you a high level overview because I never really work in this area of programming. But, again, at each step, there's interpreters to change it from CPU language to hard drive language, from hard drive language to operating system language, from operating system language to Python language, and so on and so forth. But yeah, at the ultra lowest level, it is zeros and ones. Now, yeah. Do you have any other questions on that?
So you said something about like interpreters. So are they like sub-programs, like bridges that help link these next steps together? Is that the idea?
That's exactly it, yeah.
But oh man, because then I have another question. How does a computer can understand an interpreter? I assume the interpreter will be more... Oh, the interpreter always has to be friendlier to the speaker. That's just how interpreting works.
Generally, yeah.
So it would have to be more of a binary... So this guy right here. Is that not touchscreen?
No.
Oh, so there's an interpreter going between the like you said here, 6 and 5. So there's an interpreter. Is there an interpreter between this process here?
A lot of them. A fuckload, yeah. So, like for example, every website you ever go to, either on not on your phone, every website you ever go to is made up of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Every single one. And as humans, what the fuck is this? Yeah, that's crazy. This is like what makes up the website. So like if I go,
what? So you're viewing this website behind the scenes?
Yeah, so I'm viewing the HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I cannot, through this little view, I can't see the the Python that's going on. But
because that's the next step below.
That's the next step below, yeah. Okay. But I can see all of this shit. So like, if I go in here, and this is only happening on my screen.
Is this illegal?
No.
Okay, then why can't you go to a competitive companies? Let's say you work for Google, Amazon's your enemy. Why can't you want to know the codings that Amazon uses? Go to Amazon and then bring this up, and you're looking at their entire. And that's totally legal? You can do that?
Extremely. So okay, and I'll say this. Okay, so we go in here. Class, that's English, right? Ember, transition, transform, box, shadow. Like, those are all English words, right?
Oh, wait, so you're telling me somebody threw in that exactly down to word for word and they got this?
Yes. What? So, like, this is kind of funny. Okay, so let me see. Can I highlight everything? I just want to highlight everything. Shit, UC will do this. So, this is really funny. It's not going to work perfectly, but... Oh, that's what it is. Okay, so let's do this. So this is Amazon's page, right?
Yes.
All you have to do is right-click on this page. Click View Page Source. I can copy and paste this. Now I'm going to go into here. This is like my code editor. It's not fucking working. Oops, that's not it. I'm still learning the shortcuts. Okay, I'm going here in my code editor. I'm going to go to actually test.html. Don't need this shit. I'm going to paste all that code that I just copied into here. So then I go to Chrome. Okay, boom. I just fucking copied Amazon's front page. I just completely copied it. It's like nearly identical actually. So this is normal Amazon, this is mine. Like, it's got even these little things.
So can you touch things and click onto them and everything?
Yeah, so now let's see what happens when I click buy it again.
Oh, because you only copied what you saw on that screen. You're not copying everything that the Amazon website has.
Exactly.
Gosh,
I'm missing all the Python. I'm missing all the JavaScript, but it looks just like it. So like, this is a fun fact, and that took me not even a minute.
Yeah.
And so this is how, like, when people, like, you're like, oh, what the fuck? Someone stole my password to this website. I was just playing RuneScape, and then the next day, it's like, that's what they did. They copied this, but then they inserted their own JavaScript and their own Python to, like, send your user information or whatever they stole to their own website. So
they did this with like fake Facebooks and fake MySpaces.
Exactly.
Click on somebody and it look everything, but it's totally fake.
Exactly. Instead of Facebook.com, it's Facebook.com or whatever.
I see.
So you go to Facebook.com and you're like, oh, I'm on Facebook, and you type in your shit, and it's like, wait, I thought I just logged in. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
But really, all the JavaScript and Python in the background happened, even though the front end, the HTML, CSS stuff looked the same.
Huh.
So that's kind of fun. Like, you can copy anybody's website, but you can't actually copy their website because you're just copying a small part of it.
Interesting.
So yeah, and again, kind of like how I was talking about, I click on this button and this 404 happens. Well, that's because you need to do more JavaScript.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of like how these things blend together. Okay, so that's fun. That's always a fun exercise. So that still doesn't really answer, like, how the hell does this get to zeros and ones? So let's go back to looking at the code. So again, all this shit's pretty much English, right? Oh, there's a little little cat. That's apparently a cat. They put a little Easter egg in there. That's not good to look at. Let's do this. There's a fuckload of stuff here. Damn. Let's do this. Okay, I'm gonna modify this text right here. You see it says your recent order. Kenny is a boss. Okay.
That's awesome.
Again, this is only happening on my screen.
Right.
But I can change it. I typed Kenny as a boss. Now, I just modified the HTML. This shit, that display stuff is HTML.
Because it was in parentheses. I know that's part. If you put it in parentheses, it's going to display on the screen as a text. Is that right?
Let me see. if you display it in the little like the little less than or greater than.
Oh, it's one of those. Okay, then I think Python is with quotes, but then in HTML it must be with. Okay.
Yeah, and so like HTML's interpreter is different than Python's. Okay, so you see here, let me just do this. I'm gonna edit as HTML. Okay. So I'm gonna type here H3, which is just like a type of text.
Okay.
Actually, let's just do P. So P stands for paragraph. That's pretty easy, right? And when in P's you put text in. So yeah, Kenny loves his girlfriend.
Oh, so nice.
So if I type /P or like bracket P bracket Kenny loves his girlfriend, that's HTML's way of saying, yeah, I can do something with this. You know what? If you type that, I will display that, and there it goes, right? That's the way HTML does it. Python. Python says, you know what? If you type print quotation hello, then I'll do it.
Yes, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. So that's an example of just two different languages doing the same thing, except there's just different way to interpret.
Yeah, like perhaps just languages. Hola compared to hello.
Yes, that's exactly it. So Spanish to English, hola, hello.
So then, okay, so if German was one of the first, we use Roman. No, what alphabet do you use? Greek alphabet? Latin alphabet? Yeah. Okay. Latin, yeah. So Latin is probably one of the most oldest languages. Most of the region around Latin, anywhere Latin, so like Italy and France, any language around there is based off of those letters. So the language themselves are completely different, but you're using the same letters as combinations. So I assume HTML was developed before Python. Or why can't everything, when you want to print something, why couldn't they have made it easy and just done the /P thing? Just like how vowels are always the same, and no matter what Latin language, they're always the same. You have a couple less in each language, like Y in English. But vowels have the same job for all that. Why couldn't programming have the basic thing all be somewhat? So I know there's similar how you can print something, but how you actually do it.
Dude, that's a really, really fucking good question.
They're assholes.
So that's super cool. I love that question. Okay, so the reason for that is somebody had to make the interpreter for the zeros and ones.
Yes. I assume in the maybe like 90s. We're probably looking at like mid-90s here.
Dude, we might be looking at... I mean, if you really want to like be technical, there's like programming fucking... Like you could look at an abacus, which was BC whenever. I don't really know when the abacus was. I don't even know how to spell it. Let me see. When was this?
It was really old.
Really old. Like you could argue that this is the first level of calculator, which is effectively programming.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
Now, when was a first like electronic technology? I don't know, maybe the TV, something before that, the radio, like kind of interpreting radio waves, like
20s.
That shit's been going on for a long time, like programming.
Gotcha.
Again, I would argue that is. So now the radio does something that TV doesn't do.
Okay.
Well, how about this? The TV does something that the radio doesn't do.
That would make more sense.
But they're all built off kind of the abacus, right? The abacus, like the zeros and ones, that's binary, plays into both of these, right?
Okay.
This can display color, this and audio, so like visual and audio, whereas this is just audio. How they do it, radio waves and other shit. I don't know, different types of signals, but like at the end of the day, this is what they do. They provide audio and visual. Now, the radio and TV are two different things. So you say like, okay, fine. Well, why does there have to be different types of programming languages? Why not? Why don't all of them just use the P brackets to say hello or to display text, right? Well, that's because HTML, which is very visual, right? And again, this comes from the Abacus, does something different than what Python does, which is just like the behind the scenes. This is more like calculations. So if you created a website, if you created a website to display shit using Python, you're either a genius or like super clueless. Because Python's extremely good at calculating things. It's good at taking text and like doing shit with it or adding numbers. Whereas HTML, that's really, really good for displaying visual things. Just like the radio is amazing for putting in your car, you can listen to it, you still get your audio component. Whereas the TV is perfect for displaying visual things. The news ladies with the pretty hair and Donald Trump and whatever. Like, these are just two different things. I use both of these, but I use them totally differently.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Just like how I use HTML and Python. I use them both, but they just do different things.
Gotcha.
Now
that makes sense.
Yeah, what's come from this is a ton of programming languages, which like React does kind of the same thing as Vue, which kind of does the same thing as Angular, and that's just because people can. So like, there's just again millions of programming languages out there that were made for a specific purpose. But we have so many at this point that you can kind of just stick to like the main 5 of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
But again, Python does something different than Java, which does something different than C, which does something different than C++. I was gonna ask. So yeah, you're right. Like, you type words and shit happens, but they all kind of do different things. And so I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. That makes more sense.
That was a super cool question. That's I like the way you think.
Holy shit. You can do square roots and cube roots on abacuses? Yo! Dude. Dude! I'd love to know how that would work. Cube root on... Or square root. Try square root on abacus.
Square root. That's hilarious. Let me see. Which would be better? 12. These do not. Oh, wait. Oh, not abacus. Yeah, these don't have very many of these. So let's see what this is all about.
Let's use the abacus to take the square roots of numbers. So I'm actually going to follow the instructions of Welton J. Crook. He explains how to take the square root, and it says in the opening paragraph, the extraction of the square root of a number may be accomplished easily enough by means of the abacus, but the process is somewhat slow and tedious. It consists of a long series of additions and subtractions. So in case you cannot see the website, this is it. So feel free to go there, and I'm back to the abacus and start with a simple one. Let's try to find the square root of 9. So we're going to put 9 over here, and like we've done in multiplication, I will be using the abacus over here, but it does not represent
2, 4, 6, 8. Fuck, dude, I don't know. 13? What? I do not know abacuses at all.
Okay, well, anyway, continue. Yeah, this would be interesting.
A number such as 1 10 billion. Okay, so let's just proceed. So what we have to do is that we will put one number up there, and then we subtract 1 from over here. We continue with this, but in a slightly different way. We now always add 2. So we add 2, and there's 3 over here, so we're going to subtract 3 from over here. Now, we're going to continue until this number is at least as big as this number, and that's not the case just yet, so we're going to add 2 again. There's 1, 2, And now we have 5, so we're going to subtract 5. We subtract it, and all this is cleared out, which is good. So the final step is to add 1 and then divide by 2. So 6 divided by 2, as we know, is 3, and that is indeed the square root of 9.
Okay. Anyway, we'll forget that question. But this is that was a Japanese abacus.
Oh,
there's like different types
really? Okay.
Anyway,
anyway.
That was cool.
Okay. So basics. Okay, so you asked about I don't remember exactly the question. Like a string of letters, images, numbers to appear in a certain. I never.
Yeah. So this is a perfect example. So when I understood how you took this right there and you changed the text, easy. But I assume. But when this guy started by himself, he literally had a blank page in front of him on what comes out and what goes in. So how did he make a 2-inch by 3-inch box in the middle of the page with text in regular Times New Roman hanging right with that, like 3 centimeters from the top, 2 margins? How do you get square? How did he put a square? How did he put a text with a square? It's not like you could, back in the day, you right-click, hold, drag down the box, and then you type in the box. Remember that back in the day?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem to be what's happening here. So how does placement? Okay, how does visual placement translate into just paragraphs of letters and numbers?
Okay, again, that's a phenomenal question. So let us go to our text editor. I'm just going to close out some shit. Hold on, I'm not going to close out that. Close out that. Close out that. Oops, not that one. Close out that. I just want to clear some of this. Okay. So, now let's go open.
Do colors mean anything, by the way?
They're just, no, they're just
help the
helpful.
eye understand what's going on. Gotcha.
Totally. Yeah, that's, again, also a very good question.
That makes sense. Because it's different. Well, yeah, it would have to be, though. No, it wouldn't have to be.
That's kind of funny. Whenever you're learning programming, you'll always see "Hello World." Hello, Kenny. Okay, so let me see if I remember how to do this. How do I open this up? Ah, shoot! Do I have to create? Okay, so first, I'm gonna save this as an HTML file. Maybe. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, it's an HTML file. All it has is hello Kenny. Wait, yeah, let's delete this one. Okay, get out of here. So, I'm going to go into my Finder. And I'm going to find this file and open it up. Okay, so, all I have in my program, this is technically a program, is hello Kenny. Now it automatically gave some space here and just put it in the top left.
Okay.
So that's kind of how, if you do not define where it needs to go, what it needs to do, it's going to start just like English. Top left, go right, and keep going down. Now let's say I do this. Let's say I have hello Kenny more times. What's going to happen? I'll refresh my page, and yeah, just like I said, starts in the top left and goes. And so your browser will automatically create this little bit of padding, and then it'll automatically so to answer your question, your browser automatically does certain things. Yeah, if I reach this point, it automatically goes to the next line. The browser automatically. Now the browser is actually part of my interpreter for this program. I create this program, I give it to my browser, and it does a bunch of shit. So your browser is doing a ton of stuff to display this, right? Just like this, I'm increasing the zoom. That's all my browser. My program looks like this, but my browser is really dictating what's going on here.
Okay.
So that answers one question. Another question is to how did this guy make this little LifeWire logo go over here when I scroll down a little bit, and how is this image here? Well, the cool thing about Chrome, I like to use Chrome, is that you can kind of see how that happens. What do I mean by that? I've opened this up before. Mm-hmm. These are called the dev tools, the Chrome dev tools for developers. And now if you see, like, this is code, right? Like right here, just like all of this, this is code. And if I highlight over it, it kind of shows me like what's going on. So I can actually let's go back to doing this. I think that's better. So I can even like hit this button here, select an element to inspect it, and that will kind of tell me what's going on. So if I start from the top, it looks like everything in here is kind of in a box.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And within that box, you can place like, okay, I want my menu to be over here. Again, I'm just doing high level overview. I want my logo to be in this little box in the center. So to give you an idea of how things are structured, everything's in boxes.
That makes sense.
So yeah, that's a box. This text is a box.
It would have to be some shape. Yeah, it would have to be some sort of shape.
Yeah, and with each box, you can determine what you want in there, but you can also kind of determine, like, once you have your box on the page, through what we call CSS, which stands for cascading style sheets, just style, like the styling of the page. That's where you can say, you know what, instead of being at the very left edge of the box, move everything within this box to the middle. Just like how they kind of did up here, right? They said, you know what, we have this box. Put this in the middle, and we'll get that to that later. But it's good to understand, like, everything on a web page is just boxes. So, okay. So that's a high-level overview. So now let's actually do this. So let's have some Hello Kenny's here. Hello Kenny. Hello Sergio. Hello Uptown. Okay, what does that page look like? Just shit. Our page is ugly. So let's fix this a little bit. So let's put like a P here. Okay. I'm gonna put a P there. I'm gonna put a P there, a P there.
And is that \P just letting the computer know you're finishing? It's like a period.
Ah, good question. Yes, exactly.
You're closing the first P.
Yes, that's exactly it. Hi. Hello. The periods are exactly like that. So now, I think you might have asked this one time. Maybe not. Maybe one of our other friends did. But like, what happens if you do this?
Then it's going to understand the whole line as one thing.
No, it actually doesn't.
No, it's not. Oh.
Yeah, it actually doesn't, which is a crazy thing. So this, all in one line,
doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense to us, but to the computer, it makes just as much sense as doing this. So like, to us, it's like, what the fuck? Why are there a ton of spaces in here? Like, do we have to do that? Why don't we just do this?
Well, won't it be in the distance when it displays on the page?
Now, that's a super good question. So, you know what? Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I do this shit, right? Put a bunch of spaces in here. Let's put more even. So that we can't even see.
Did you just copy and paste space and we just did?
Yeah, that's what I just did. I just copied and pasted a ton of space. Okay, so to me it's like, okay, yes. Hello Kenny will be up here, and then we scroll down on our web page.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, that sounds about right. But it doesn't.
So spaces, I mean, absolutely not.
So yeah, maybe. So let's delete all the spaces.
Oh, because then you can use those in between spaces to create more stuff and have that not show.
Yeah, like I think that's right. It's like all of this is on one line, and that's the same as it all being. I'm just refreshing the page. That's the same as it all being with these big ass spaces. Right?
Huh. Now what if you did that? Yeah. What happens now?
Okay, I'll refresh it.
Nothing.
The same thing. Yeah. So the computer's like, okay. So the computer sees this. Bracket P bracket. We'll call this the P tag. Like these are called tags, right? A tag. Like this is a tag, and this is a tag. Like, these all mean different things to the computer, right? Mm-hmm. But they're all tags because they have the less than, greater sign, greater than sign.
And is that a command that or tags commands that you're giving the computer?
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So you know what? Let's even do this really quickly.
I assume P is for print.
P, that's a good guess, but it's for paragraph. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, pretty sure. Let me see. P tag paragraph. Yeah, but print. I mean, that's a super good assumption. Okay, so let's do this. This is cool. So H1. First we have P, right, and then we have H1, and then we have strong. And then in each of these, I start my tag and I close my tag from this little slash.
Backslash.
Right?
Yeah, with the same tag that you started.
Exactly. It has to be the same tag that I started.
Yes.
Okay. So this, sorry, this is kind of.
Yeah, you can't have a quotation mark and then to end it with a period. It doesn't. If
yes.
you write in English, like, that doesn't make any sense.
That's a really good analogy. You are the analogy expert. Yeah. Cool. That's a sick analogy. I'm gonna start using it. So now, we got P, we got H1, and we got strong. And again, we close them all off with these little slashes. And as we saw, it doesn't really matter if they're all on the same line or different lines. So like for readability, we're gonna keep them on different lines. Does that sound good to you?
Sure.
Okay. So now let's see what happens. Boom.
What?
So they all say hello, Kenny, but to us they display differently.
Yeah, one's bigger font bold, one's regular font bold.
This one's just huge. And, bigger font bold, regular font bold, and then regular. Yeah, mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, and that's because...
So H1 is large? Height 1? Oh, is it height?
Oh, it might be, actually. Oh, did you see that? H1. Oh, there is that automatically... I don't know, that doesn't matter, but... the header. Oh, it's a header. Header. Okay. So here's actually a pretty good representation. So this is H1, this is H2, H3, H4, H5, H6.
Oh, so that's font size.
Yeah, exactly. So if we go to just here, like this little box right here. Why is this kind of ugly? There we go. Actually, we don't need this one. This little box right here, you know how we kind of said the elements are like this is a box,
yeah,
and then this is a box, and this is a box, and this is a box. Like this is an H1 right here. This looks like an H4. This also looks like an H3 maybe, and this is just a P. So like once you kind of work with these, you can kind of understand. Oh yeah, like this might be a P also. This is an H3. That's probably an H4, and then that's a P, because like they all kind of change sizes. So yeah. Those mean different things. You have to close them off. Oh yeah. Okay. So now let's go into like and if this is cool too. We can inspect. So we see that our P right here. It's this long ass box. This H1, it's this long ass box. Strong, that's kind of an outlier, but it's just this little box. So now, this is cool. So you say, you know what? I want to get Hello Kenny to the middle of the page. And you can, because we can just place this box, or we can just place this text
in the middle of the box.
In the middle of the box, yeah. So, how do we do that? We can do something with styling. So we can just say style. Text. Let's just try this. I don't think this is going to work, but okay. See, this is where I'm like, I'll text align. Okay, that's what it is. So I can say text align center, and this should work. Boom.
Oh,
boom.
I get it.
So that's styling. So like, normally, I just have a normal H1, And then again, by default, the browser will say, well, there's no styling, there's no CSS to it. You're not styling it. We're just going to fucking put it wherever we want to put it. But then I'm like, wait a minute, no. Can you add the style to the H1. And this is like the browser's way of saying move a certain way, orient it. And I'll say center, and then again, it puts it in the center. Will it still be in the center if I change my browser window? Yeah, it will. And behind the scenes, maybe the fucking operating system, actually that's probably still the browser. So the browser is the interpreter for my code, right? Mm-hmm. And the browser says, okay, your dimensions are 1024. One of the two. I should probably know this. Let me see. Okay, so it is 1920. Okay. So what my browser is automatically doing for me when I say align center, style the center, it says your screen's 1924 or 1920, and it goes, since you want it in the center, we'll just divide that by 2, which is math. 9. Damn it, Kenny.
960.
Okay. So it says, instead of placing your... Oh, that's actually another thing. Okay. You know, like a graph, right? Mm-hmm. There's your X and Y.
Yeah.
That's... Your computer screen is like this. The third quadrant, or the second one, right?
Oh.
This is Q1... Q2, I think.
Is your screen?
Q3, Q4, right?
What the hell? Oh, okay.
So this is 1920 pixels wide by 1080, right? Something like that. Maybe it's 1080, 1920. I don't know. Fuck, I think it's 1920. I gotta read up on that. But so yeah, like this is 0, 0 way up here. This is 0, 0. And this is 1080 by 1920. Or X coordinate 1920, Y coordinate 1080.
Okay.
So when I say center, I want to center my X. And the center of your X is just your width divided by 2, right?
Yeah.
So then instead of 0, 0, it will place it at 960.
Right.
Okay. So that's just kind of like, and that's what Chrome is doing for me. It's doing that math for me. That's part of the interpretation. And then
the browser, that's the browser's job.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Safari or Firefox.
Oh, I see.
So, yeah, I threw a bunch of shit at you there. But do you have other questions?
A quick question.
Yeah.
So one time, I was as all happened to everyone. You're trying to log on to like a website. When I first started my chess account.
Mm-hmm.
And fill your name out, they gave you everything. And then there was that screen that said, please write the numbers and letters you see here.
Oh, the CAPTCHAs.
Or something. Is that what it's called? And then like the letters are kind of distorted and fucked, and like, and then you're like, oh, I know what to make sure you're not a computer or whatever, right? So now if I reverse engineer this from what you just showed me, if I was a computer, there'd have to be some way in which a computer would not be able to see what's in that box code-wise. Because when a computer's trying to log in, it's not going through the screen that a human sees. It's cutting that because it doesn't need it. It can communicate with another computer.
Exactly.
So it's going through behind the scenes and trying to get there.
Exactly.
So what exactly is that thing, and why can't computers see it?
Good question.
Because why can't a computer do that thing where like you have the screen and you can tell the text? Why can't a computer bring that up with that text and then be able to find out what's going on that way?
Okay. That's a super good question. Long story short, computers are bad at... That's actually a super good question. Okay.
Because a computer can't see it. I understand if it was a hacking code, it wouldn't be able to see the fucked up letters. But it's still in the computer as code, so couldn't it figure out what its actual code and then answer the question that way? Because then how did you get it on the computer to be like that if you weren't using code?
That's a good question. Okay, so how about... Okay, so now...
Yes, just like that.
Let's do this. Okay. So let's go to my dev tools, right?
Okay.
If I click on here, I can go into this P,
yes,
which we know is just text.
Yes.
And in English, holy shit, this is kind of ugly. No, let's not do that one. Let's go this one. Okay. In English, I can see this. This user identification procedure has received many criticisms. Blah, blah, blah. Like a computer can.
It's right there. Okay, yeah.
A computer can easily read this, right? Because it's all text.
Because it's not looking at this; it's looking at this.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So I can even go in here, and my computer's doing this. I'm hitting the copy button, and paste it into here. Boom. Like, if I created a program to extract this text, easy, super fucking easy.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Computer can do that. Now let's go into here. Let's do the same thing. Okay, let me see if we can do this. Wikipedia's smart, I think. Yeah, they're really smart. Okay. So now let's try to do this. So I go into here. It says image source. This tells me nothing about the actual image. This just gives me a link to the image. Okay, so it gives me a link to the image. Now let's go into here. And nowhere does this in here, this code say SMWM.
So the whole square is an image?
The entire square is an image.
And therefore, the computer only understands it as an image.
Exactly.
Oh.
It's like, wait, this is a fucking image. Like, I can't read. Because what is this image at its core? Like, what? You know what? What is this?
Fucked up circle.
Fuck you.
Letter D by
fuck you.
second grader.
You know what? Okay. Fuck you. What is this?
Square.
There. Okay. How did I create this square?
4 lines. Two being parallel.
Correct. Now, how did I create those lines?
Drew them with your pencil.
What is the pencil?
It's just lead that's stuck on paper.
Yeah,
that our eyes can now see.
Exactly. It's a shitload of little lead fragments.
Yeah.
And they're all so closely put together that they form this...
They look like a line.
They look like
our eyes. Yeah.
That's what an image is. It's just a bunch of color. Like, this is thousands and thousands and thousands of white pixels.
Yeah.
And these are also thousands of black pixels, but they're organized in such a way that they create like the image that we see. Oh, these black and white pixels are formed in a shape that they look like an S to us. Just like these little pieces of fragments of lead are shaped in. So you have to create a program to, first of all, like, extract all the pixels. And then you have to somehow say, well, if there are X amount of pixels in this square, in this sort of arrangement, that means it's an S. It's like, God, that took me a long time to kind of just explain how to do that, let alone write a program.
Well, we already have things like that. There are apps that I can take a picture of Chinese, and then once the picture's taken, it shows up in English.
That's super fucking cool.
Yeah. They're really expensive, and
actually,
those exist.
You know what? If you have a Google phone, here, let's do a book. Google is creating great technology to do this. So, you're right. Like, I can do this, and I can tap on book. And it says copy text. Oh, it looks like handwriting. Oops. Copy text. Come on, buddy. Can I do anything with it? Oh, there we go. Might be one of these. Book. Yeah, boom.
Oh, like, I see. Yeah.
So just like what you do with Chinese, I can do with... This should be...
Let's go with left.
That's right. Well, if I had better handwriting.
29 cuerda.
That's funny. But anyway,
no, I get it. That makes sense.
But that took forever to get good at. Oh, and like, look at this, like
technology through the years to understand, or what do you mean?
Correct.
It took so long?
It took a lot of development, a lot of programming, years worth of programming to be able to do that, to be able to read text. And you saw that 129 Kierda, like, it still didn't do it perfectly. And that's just super fucking hard to, like, read images. So, I mean, yeah, again, you saw it firsthand. Like, it's still... It's taking years and years to develop, but it's still not very good. So that's why CAPTCHAs exist, because, like, it's fucking hard to do.
That's so weird. It's almost like the exact opposite of a human brain. Like, it's hard for humans to understand long lines of letters and words. But images, we're pretty good at images.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point.
He's pretty good.
And that's the thing. It's like, I was listening to... Long story short, there's a company which is trying to, like, be the subject... Like, it's trying to be Google for subjective answers. Like, what's a good restaurant I should go to if I'm in Bloomington?
By taking all your search history and seeing what you've liked and stuff, and then going that way.
Yeah, but you're right. And that's one way to do it. But that's the thing. It's so subjective. Like, I talk to you and you might hate Mexican food and you say, fuck Mexican food, don't go to this Chinese place. And I'm like, dude, fuck Chinese place, Mexican food's awesome. Go to this Mexican place. And it's like, how do you get a reliable answer? That's just like text. Like, this could easily be 12 Kierda or Izquierda, or like, this could be a lot of different things. I don't really know. And you're right, computers are bad at that. Whereas, yeah, humans are good at being like, oh, it can be this, this, or this.
Yeah. Oh, I'd be really curious. Oh, man. If you showed a computer a picture of a dog, and you asked it what it was, and if it told you dog, dude, some fucked up shit, because there is no visual definition of a dog.
You're right.
Does this make sense?
You're totally right. So, now let's try this. This is going to be really fucking cool. Oh. Google Images. Wait, did it do it or not?
So what did it...
These are my photos. What the hell? Didn't say anything. Okay, so it's still a little spotty, but... What is this? A book. Okay, nope, not quite. Well, yeah, I guess it's not perfect.
But like the problem would be, though, if that computer was to know it's a dog, the computer must have had millions and billions of images to be a dog, and therefore that's why it tells you it's a dog, because I've seen this exact image before and I know it's a dog.
Yes.
Like that.
So like here, oh shit! It suggested Lassie.
Oh.
Fuck me! Of course it did. It does it. But yeah, it suggested this could be Lassie, and you're totally right. Like,
interesting.
So yeah, it's pretty close. So you're totally. So if you ever hear machine learning, have you heard that before? Machine learning, or AI.
Yeah.
Everyone's
yeah.
AI is just computers being more emotional or more like interpretive right? Rather than like black and white.
Yes, yeah, that's the exactly.
That's what a subset of AI is. Oops, I'm kind of dyslexic. I think, honest, I might be a little bit dyslexic, but that's machine learning.
Okay.
And what that means is exactly what you just said. Like machine learning, a program to detect dogs will probably fail if it has 2 pictures of dogs. Yes. Whereas it's going to succeed if it has millions or even billions of photos. Like if I created a program which takes a picture of this dog and has 2, like a data set of 2, maybe it'll get that. I'm not really sure, but you're totally right. Like if it has billions of photos to be like, okay, dogs generally have like these pixels aligned in this way, then it's gonna succeed.
It would say it as pixels.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it wouldn't say as shapes, as we can see shapes of like a face and a nose. It would say number of pixels in that area.
Exactly.
I'm curious, but if we have AI and we can hook it to the internet, then we can skip that whole phase.
What do you mean?
Then we don't need to upload billions of ideas into this computer for it to understand. So you have...
Exactly. And I think that's why Google's so successful, is because they have all these images in their database, and they can like that. This technology is only on the Google phones, I'm pretty sure. If you have an Android, you can download it. Yeah, fucking download Google Lens and play with it. Yeah, you can.
Oh, dude, I wonder if I could take a chest position and search it that way.
That would be cool. I wonder, actually. Let's see. Not maybe, but again, that's still a lot of like images to.
Oh yeah, that's true. Because the pieces may not look the same. It'd have to look like exactly the same.
Oh shit! Did I just stop this? Yeah, I did. Oops, didn't mean to do that. But yeah, that as far as chess pieces, if taken from above, probably can understand. Like, yeah, there's like a checkerboard of pixels. So this is probably a chessboard, and then it's like, oh, these are but I guess
the pieces will be always different. You know, the fonts, even if it was electronic, there's still piece font. Yeah. So the piece font might be a problem.
That's a good point. I didn't consider.
But yeah, well.
But yeah, those are some super awesome questions. Well, and again, I don't know. It's if you have to jet at 2:00.
I'll probably leave here soon.
Okay. A couple minutes. Sure. Yeah, that sounds cool. So again, first of all, really good fucking questions. I'm glad I'm recording this because like I think this is cool information. And again, I'm just like recording shit just to really mostly as a way to sometimes I record myself just like talking to the camera, like I'm not talking to anybody like here or here. I'm just fucking talking to myself, but I found it's crazy. Oh, look at this doggy. I found it's crazy how much more you can really think about by just vocalizing. Like I think we talked about this. And so I don't know. If it helps other people, then cool. Fuck yeah. But first and foremost, it's to help me. Yeah, it's just a way of, I guess, like reflecting too. Just like sports teams watch film, they watch themselves. They watch it 10 times over just to like learn about yourself. And yeah, this is a way of learning more about myself, I guess. But again, really good questions.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Do you want a little homework assignment?
Sure.
Fuck yeah. Okay. Your homework assignment is... Let me text it to you.
You're gonna text it? Wait, those are texts. So wait, you can send text from... Well, I guess it's Google hooked up, right?
So yeah, Google owns Android. And
I keep forgetting about that. Well, I know this, but I don't realize this like I have now. Oh, that is cool.
And there's other, like, I used to use something called Mighty Text. I used to use Pushbullet. And yeah, you download this app and you can text from your phone. But now since Google owns Android, they're like, we're going to destroy you guys and make our own. So yeah, if you go just messages.android.com. So, 1, create a Python program that prints out hello world. This is your fun homework. I'm going to even label it as fun homework. Boom.
Am I going to get it on my phone?
Yep.
Yeah, this is cool. That's some cool shit.
You're going to want it print. Okay, there we go. Boom. I should say these should be on different lines. My bad English there.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Fuck yeah. Thanks for coming over, Ken.
Yeah, dude. And actually, it might be Wednesday if you're okay with that.
Wednesday, you said?
Yeah. So what happened is there's a lot of kids or adults who I work with that have kids.
Mm-hmm.
And they want